Hello everyone and welcome back to Sam's Route on Seduce Me the Otome. So while we're here, let's get started. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly that next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep? I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I'm gonna turn up the volume, because I can't hear it. Can I hear it? Can't hear it. Maybe I might have to do this again. Anyway, karma owed me some luck. After all I had gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserved some good luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and get dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
Who the fuck wakes up before 7? God. I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. I checked the time, 6:30. Perfect, I can eat some breakfast before they come. I packed my bags and carried it downstairs towards the kitchen. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate of eggs with toast and bacon sitting on the table. A fresh, steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with a sugar and creamer on the side. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Have a good day, yours. My heart skipped a beat as I finished. I could tell it was from one of the boys. Maybe it was from him? I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. The food was so delicious I devoured every amazing bite. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see Sam, who was holding my hand back with a stern look on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Sam. I want you to know my real name if something happens.
His true name? What did you mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remembered reading about a demon name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you, no matter where they were. Sure, whatever. Sam gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Almaris.
As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I wouldn't forget it. Sam pulled away and stared at me, desperate, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you're in any danger, any time, it doesn't matter when, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
I stared up at Sam, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Sam nodded back before releasing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and we headed to the school, talking about homework and the coming day. We made it to the school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to get and got our important books and necessities. First incident of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, who were both waiting for me on the opposite end of the hall, something hooked on my ankle and made me fall forward. What? Ow!
Hey, are you okay?
I mean, I guess.
Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lizette and her gaggle of girls. Lizette had a look of complete innocence, while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Why, you little... Suzu, don't!
Beat her up. I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lizette. Today was not the only time this had happened to me. However, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lizette was the mastermind just from the look on her face. Very stupid looking face. She was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something. Just walk away. No. I wasn't going to bring myself to her level. She was a bully, but I wasn't letting her get to me. I had to be stronger than her, and only then would I be able to beat her. I stood up and brushed myself off, pretending like nothing happened.
Anderson, You okay?
I'm fine.
That was a pretty bad fall.
I fall all the time. Yeah, I'm fine. A fall like that is nothing. I merely smiled at them, not wanting to let them know the pain rushing through my body from that fall. My arms were quaking, my shoulders were pulsing, but I remained content-faced. I quickly gathered up my belongings and nodded to my two friends. Come on, we'll be late for history. Suzu and Naomi looked at each other before frowning and nodding to me. Naomi,
Friggin' bunch of
okay.
Lisette feet lickers.
What were we calling feet lickers?
That's gross, Suzu.
Well, so were they.
It's true. It's all OMG! Lisette is the best! Let's follow her around because we obviously don't have lives.
Naomi and I couldn't help but laugh. The group behind us, however, did not like
At least
Suzu's
my
words.
dad doesn't screw around in the black market to keep a stupid casino running.
Ooh, them's fighting words. Suzu stopped. Naomi and I stopped as well to look back at Suzu, who was completely red in anger. There's the fucking music. Suzu slowly turned to head to the group, glaring daggers at them.
The fuck did you just say?
I had to act fast. I placed my hand on Suzu's shoulder and gripped tightly, knowing she could try to push my hand away. Suzu, they're not worth it. Let's just go.
No, I think it's about time we taught them some manners.
Suzu!
I look at Lizette and her group. Lizette had a wide, amused smile on her face, which irked me to no end. Nevertheless, I knew that fighting wasn't going to get us anywhere. Let's go. I grabbed Suzu by the shoulder roughly, pulling her back to Naomi and me. Suzu tried to step towards the group, but Naomi held on to her other shoulder. We held on to Suzu, who fought against our hands as we marched to class. Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without a hitch. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for the school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text from Dad? I'll be picking you up today. Make sure you're ready to go when I get there. That's kind of a surprise. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Actually, my dad's picking me up.
Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Kind of.
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
Sure. Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this. Why was he gonna pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I didn't know. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading off to the usual spot where my dad picks me up. I took the time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. Eventually I had played the entire album with no one showing up. What the? Dad's never late, especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number, but as soon as I called it, it disconnected and read a signal disconnection error message. What? No signal? How do I not have signal? I double-checked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. Must be in a dead zone. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed at my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. I felt disgusted and scary, feeling their hands on me. I needed it to stop.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey!
The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or van. The doors closed and off I was taken. All I knew that I was in trouble. All I saw was darkness. I felt numb as I was taken to a place I didn't know of. I couldn't even move my lips to scream. Sounds zipped past my ear, first the interior of a car, then outside, then an echoey space with the whispers and cackles of people vibrating through it. However, the wrap around my eyes was eventually removed from my face and my bonds were cut. It took a while for me to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by devils, including Malix, who was smirking at me.
Nicely done!
God, that's loud. Sorry. Continue.
Nicely done! I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
I would hope. Malix walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes. Oh.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Hilarious. Wait. I could see Malix pull the trigger before bracing himself. Oh.
Fuck!
Oh. I opened my eyes again to see Malix jamming his finger against the trigger, trying to shoot me to no avail.
Well, she either has the barrier spell on her, or you're losing your power.
Can we go with the second one just because he's a pussy?
Well...
Shut up! I'm not losing shit! This little brat must have that spell on her!
I am such a brat. I felt a wave of relief run through my body. The other devils laughed at Malix, which made him angrier.
I said, shut up!
I don't think you should be yelling at your goonies. Malix suddenly moved his gun towards a nearby devil and pulled the trigger. I stared wide-eyed as the bullet from Malix's gun rammed itself into the neck of the devil boy. The wound spouted fire and blood, causing the devil to scream and flail in extreme pain before falling limp to the ground. Oh dear. Okay, so as the body hit the floor, it began to almost deform and melt. Blood and black ash poured out of the wound in every opening that the body had, causing the smell of death to quickly fill the room. I felt like gagging as the body eventually stopped moving. The body became like a deflated balloon, showing me the true nature of Malix's gun. It was now just a pile of blood and skin. The bullet had burnt up the muscle, bones, and any structure that the body had to give it form. That could have been me.
Anyone else wanna laugh at me? Huh?
I mean, you're pretty funny. The devils around us shut their mouths, obeying the warning of the obvious master of the space. Malix growled before glaring at me.
As I was saying, it must be some holy magic or some shit like that. Eris.
The girl who had kidnapped me stepped up beside Malix, looking to me. Malix wrapped a strong arm around her waist and pulled her tight against his side before burying his face against her neck. Eris didn't react, but continued to stare at me as Malix ravaged her shoulder and neck in violent kisses. Eventually, Malix pulled away, licking his lips before looking to Eris's face.
Be a dear and get rid of her barrier. Now.
Without another word, Eris walked around me, out of my plane of sight. As I turned my head to try and follow her, Malix raised his gun to my face once again, forcing me to stop moving.
I may not be able to shoot you yet, brat. But there are other ways I can beat the living shit out of you.
Almaris. Sure. All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to cover themselves.
What the?
Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself and standing my ground. I tried to peek through the arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gusts slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing a very pissed-off Sam. Sam?
Don't worry. I got you.
At that moment, Sam didn't even give Malix a chance to breathe. As I blinked, I saw Sam's fist rammed itself into Malix's cheek, sending the devil flying back against the wall of the warehouse we were in.
You motherfucker!
Sam was relentless. He quickly followed Malix to the wall and began slamming his fist into Malix's body. An imprint of Malix's body began to form into the wall as Malix was beaten in. The remaining devils stared, trying to figure out what to do, help Malix or watch in silence. Eris, however, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she smiled, with an amused smirk on her face.
Get off!
With a blast of heat, Sam was forced back from Malix. Sam slid on the balls of his feet, covering his face from the burst of heat that forced him back. Malix, on the other hand, was practically on fire. His menacing eyes glared deadly daggers at Sam as Malix gripped his gun.
You're dead, Incubus!
Malix pried himself from the wall and began to fire hot bullets at Sam. However, none of the shots made it to Sam's body. In the blink of an eye, Sam had disappeared from his spot and reappeared at Malix's side, ready to lay a heavy punch on Malix's head.
Too slow!
Malix, though, wasn't as slow as Sam thought. Malix quickly turned to shoot at Sam, who barely had the time to dodge. It quickly turned into a fight of Sam using his speed to try and dodge and hit Malix, and Malix using his gun and devil-like skills to try and lock onto Sam's appearing form. It was almost too fast to follow. However, I could tell something inside Sam changed. He wasn't holding anything back in this fight. It was as if something incredibly demonic had taken a hold of him and forced each punch he threw and each step he made. Was this the extent of his demon power? I didn't have a chance to answer myself as Sam tried to dodge Malix. Sam tripped and landed on one knee with a loud thump.
Gotcha, bitch!
Brr. I gasped in horror. Sam had no chance to dodge or run. I could only stare, petrified, as Malix charged forward and jammed the barrel of his gun into Sam's mouth.
Eat hellfire, Incubus!
Why is his mouth open? I don't know. Then, at that moment, something in the air changed. The air instantly went from frantic to still energy. What could have been described in tone as the color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and green as everything began to blend together all at once. My eyes never strayed from Sam's face, however, even as it changed. His eyes began to glow a bright golden color as Sam began to bite down on the gun in his mouth. As the trigger was pulled, the gun was snapped in between Sam's teeth. Small fragments of the gun flew everywhere, while the look of Malix's face went from confusion to petrified. Before Malix could utter a single response, Sam let out a giant animalistic roar, sending waves of fear down my spine, and tackled Malix to the ground. Nom, 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 nom. I stared as Sam began to slam punches into Malix's face, one right after the other. Sam's skin began to morph and shift with each punch, changing from human to something else. Before I was allowed to see Sam's new form, however, a pair of hands quickly covered my eyes. Instinctively, I reached up and gripped them, trying to pull them off. A voice stopped me.
It's me. Don't look.
I listened carefully and let the last two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Damien's command. I could still hear Sam screaming and grunting with each punch he rammed into Malix's face, with the occasional cracking of bone and blood splatter echoing the air. Maybe it was better that I wasn't able to see.
That's enough, Sam!
Almost instantly after James's command, the sound stopped. The only thing anyone could hear was Sam's pants and grunts for air. Uh-huh.
Malix is dead, and you've lost your glamour spell.
Well, you're not nice. Hold on, my hands were busy.
Shut up.
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Sam sound so different? Was this what was being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
I froze. Look human? They didn't look like humans after all. What did they look like?
Like demons.
Oh. As if Matthew knew what Damien was talking about, Matthew spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer. Here. Let's go. You gotta regain your glamour spell and you're all out of energy. Come on.
Fine. Whatever.
I could hear the small clinking of glass before being passed before hearing Sam guzzle down some sort of liquid. The feel of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. Finally, Damien moved his hands from his eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Eris, had fled. On top of Malix's body was a dirty sheet that was quickly turning red from blood. I could see that Malix's face was completely caved in, making a dip in the blanket. The boys, however, gathered around me, all of them, including Sam, looking like nothing had happened. What, just... I tried to speak, but something zipped around in my head at the whole event, and I felt like speaking wasn't possible.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
I could only nod. What had happened boggled my mind to the point of disbelief. I was second-guessing everything, lost in a sea of what and how and when. As we walked out of the warehouse, I looked to Sam for some sort of sign that I wasn't dreaming. Sam kept his eyes down and away from me. It was over. Malix was gone, and the boys were finally safe. A wave of relief ran through my body at the thought of never having to deal with that group again. At the same time, a ping of realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were only going to stay until after Malix was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I could feel something heavy weigh down my heart. It was late, but the boys led me inside and turned on the lights in the lobby.
Finally, we can relax.
It will be good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks.
I'm just tired. Can I hit the hay early?
I think some sleep would be good for all of us.
I looked to Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, that sounds good. I wanted just to end tonight. Too much had happened, and I felt dizzy trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving.
Should we be gone in the morning?
The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit my body like a wave. Hit the boys like a wave, my bad. Forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal and were now waiting me to decide their fate. I gulped, face to face with the reality of the situation. The boys were leaving it up to me. They looked like they were willing to accept whatever I demanded. It was only fair, though, after all that had happened. I looked to Sam, feeling my heart flutter in my chest. I didn't want to ask him to leave, but would he ask to stay? I hoped that he would say no and ask me to stay longer. As if he knew what I wanted, Sam moved and stepped to me, putting his hand in his pocket and looking down at the ground. He was still ashamed of what he had done, but he spoke to me regardless.
Hey, I kinda... wanted to thank you for your energy and stuff. Well, I kinda want to stay here. Can we stay here? Please?
My heart skipped while a large red blush ran across my cheeks. The boy stared at Sam wide-eyed, but didn't dare to speak out. Sam stepped back into space, stepped back to give me space, returning to where he was. I moved my gaze across each boy, trying to make a decision. If they left in the morning, I would never see them again, and my life could return to normal. If I did decide to let them go, they would have been for the best. No goodbyes, no delays. But did I want to? They had done so much for me in such a small amount of time. Let him stay. I wanted them to stay. I wanted him to stay. I merely smiled, staring at the man I had come to have feelings for, before speaking at last. I would love it if all of you could stay. The boys cheered tiredly, but nonetheless enthusiastically. I giggled at the sight. It was cute to see everyone so excited, despite the tiredness that ran equally through our bodies. Today was a rough day. My home is your home, as long as you can help me with the chores. The boys nodded in unison, agreeing to the terms I had set for them. Despite the good situation, I felt myself slowly slipping into unconsciousness. However, James quickly clapped his hands together, getting everyone's attention and waking me up, making sure I didn't pass out on the floor.
All right, everyone. We're all very tired, so let's head to bed, shall we?
Oh! Yeah, sleep is actually a thing. Right.
We've had a very long day, but it will be good to just relax tonight and tomorrow.
Sleep sounds really good right now.
Yeah, man.
Yes. I watched a happy smile grow onto Sam's lips. He shared my excitement knowing that we would be together longer. Who knew how long we would stay together? All I cared about that I would be with him. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Sam alone at last. My heart fluttered a bit as Sam walked closer to me, looking to his feet. He was nervous, but it was really cute to see him that way, so I didn't do anything but smile.
Hey, thanks for letting us stay.
You're welcome, Sam. I'm happy to have you stay here. I watched his smile brighten a bit before he cleared his throat and looked up at me with a serious face. I didn't know if it was tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself sway a bit on my feet. However, Sam's face made it clear that he wanted to say something, making me forget that Bev was also calling for me.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
No, it's fine. You did what you had to do, I understand. I'd accepted everything that happened and knew that Sam had to do what he had to do. He was real, and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore that memory further. Sam nodded before holding out a hand to me.
Come on, let's get you to bed.
Yay. I nodded before Sam gently lifted me up into his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, leaning my head against Sam's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with my bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked to Sam, fighting a yawn from escaping me as he gently ran a hand over my hair.
Get some sleep, alright? I'll make some breakfast again for you in the morning.
I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. A wave of happiness washed over me as I laid in the bed. I made a good choice. Sure, it would be hard, but I could tell that I would be able to manage it. Help around the house and being with a man whom I was slowly starting to fall for would be worth it. I slowly felt my exhaustion take over. I let soup consume me as I drifted into the darkness of my mind. And this is where I'm going to end it for today, so thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you have something to say, please leave a comment. And if you would like to see more, please subscribe, and I will see you all later.